Hi, everyone, and welcome to this month's speaker chat. And Laura's here with us. So Laura Rubenstein is here with us today as our guest. I'm really excited to have you, Laura. I know that you're always interviewing other people for, the premiere show on WSA TV, and I thought this is a great opportunity as we kind of roll into, I don't know, kind of what you think of as the new year with everybody going back to school and so forth. So
hmm
thank you so much for joining us today.
I am so excited to be here. It is quite interesting to be on the other end of the interviewing spectrum, but I do this often outside of Women's Speakers Association as well, and I'm passionate about what I do, and I love supporting the community here at Women's Speakers Association.
Well, we love everything that you do. And, there's so much that you do, like you said, outside of Women Speakers Association that we wanted to, highlight some of that. And it's also something that is really important for our speakers. So today, our topic is basically how to tap into the power of building buzz for your speaking business. And we all know that building buzz is really important. It allows us to, show up and people can learn more about us. And the more that people see you, the more they're going to start to relate and realize, hey, that's a perfect person for, you know, an opportunity that might come around. So that's part of what we're going to talk about today.
Awesome.
So I'm going to start with a bio. So I'm just going to be reading here just so I don't mess it up too much. So Coach Laura Rubenstein is an award-winning social media and marketing strategist, certified hypnotherapist, speaker, and best-selling author of the book Social Media Myths Busted: The Small Business Guide to Online Revenue. She is the founder of Social Buzz Club and creator of the Savvy Social Media Success Course. Laura has developed marketing and branding strategies for more than 1,000 businesses, celebrities, speakers, and authors across the globe, helping them create more profit and brand popularity. Her profit-generating strategies and popular blog at transformtoday.com make her a highly sought-after speaker and consultant. And as we mentioned before, also part of our WSA team and our host of our weekly premiere show on WSA TV. Welcome. So everybody, please give us a warm welcome to Laura. And as we go through this, whether you're listening, if you're watching now or on replay, please go ahead and put any questions in there. Both Laura and I will go back in afterwards as well, and we'll try and touch and see if there's any questions along the way too. So.
Hi, Taryn. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Madeline. Thanks for the hearts and the love. I see you.
Perfect. Wonderful. So let's get started with this. We're talking about building buzz and how important social media is. So, how important is social media posting for? Let me try again. My apologies. How important is posting social media content for building buzz for a speaker?
Well, this is a kind of it depends question. Now, if it's really the short answer is super important. You've got to be on social media nowadays if you want to get known, become well known. It's really the ultimate buzz marketing, platform for you to build your visibility. But I want to put that with a caveat. Putting content out there is important if you have the right messaging. Really huge on the messaging part. If you're just sharing tips, that is called maintenance. That's good content. It's great. But to build a buzz, you have to know what your market is craving, what their pain is, what do they most desire, and what do they engage with on social media. So first you got to master your message with a call to their passion. Then you're primed to grow your tribe. That's a longer answer.
I love it. And I guess part of that comes into listening to who your audience is and what they're saying, because then you can respond accordingly and you're going to, become on their radar.
You got to know what they're engaging with. So if you're just putting out really great content, that's nice, but they don't necessarily care about it. You have to know what they're carrying. I have this phrase that says, if you're not listening, they can't hear you. So it ties into exactly what you just said. They
Yes.
cannot hear you if you don't hear them, if you don't spend the time to understand what they really want.
Yeah, it's so important. And like you said, a lot of us are in maintenance mode and getting stuff out and sharing tips, which is important. It is part of your social media process, but you do have to be, what are you wanting to get out of sharing with your audience? Like, what is you have a goal in it as well as it being what's in it for them. It's also what's in it for you, right?
It has to go both ways. I mean, you can give and give and give and they could love you, but if you're not getting what you need out of it either, then you're going to wind up resentful
Yeah, no,
and
that
tired
makes
and burnt out and wondering why you're doing this, even though they love you.
right. That love only goes so far.
Yep.
Actually, I have a question already too from Madeline.
Mhm.
She says, being consistent with my messaging with the same brand voice is tricky. How do I sound consistent without it being repetitious in that message to my audience?
There's an art to that, first of all. Um, you'd be surprised how many times you say the same thing over and over again, and other people if it's resonating with them, then that's good. If it's not, then it's going to sound really boring and like she says the same thing over and over again. Now, hopefully you're not one dimensional. Your work goes deep, so you don't want to just say that one thing about the one thing in one way, but we want to make the case for it. And it's not just about sharing why, like, hey, do you want to be richer? Do you want to be healthier? Do you want to be happier? Do you want to have better relationships? Do you want to skinnier? Do you want to be, that's good. You have to put that in there in the mix because that's what they want. But then it's about, do you have a story to tell about a success story like that? Do you have a story to tell about a failure of your own that you rose up from? So the stories are going to engage people about it. So can you tell some quick stories? Every day you're meeting with clients, you're talking to people, you're encountering things in the real world. Talk about them. Tell the stories, because you may have heard the phrase story selling. Stories sell, right? So make sure you're telling these fabulously interesting stories, and then you can engage your audience without sounding repetitious. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it really comes down to people want to relate to you, so they'll relate to those stories. The stories are going to be what they remember. Actually, we had Carla Rieger as a speaker chat guest last month, and she touched on that too, about the things that people remember. For her, it was like her going through the roller coaster ride, but how she related it to what she was doing, right? And where she is now. So great to bring that up again, because those stories are what sets you apart, what makes you unique. Because we may all be offering very similar products and services, but how people relate to us is how they're going to kind of move on to that next level. And Madeline said, yes, that helps a lot, and loves the idea of multiple stories to reinforce the same key message,
Mm-hmm.
right? Coming
Absolutely.
back to
And
that key message
and
is
it makes you so much more compelling. Like you talk about a success story with a client, you talk about how you had a failure or how somebody was in a state of really down and you helped bring them up, or maybe they did it themselves, and how that demonstrates exactly what you help people do. It doesn't even have to be your own story, but it's a story you tell that aligns perfectly with how you work. So get creative with that and pick things out of your daily life that you can share and make them relevant.
perfect. I know I got to go revamp things on my own now.
I know, don't we
I
all?
love doing these interviews because it's like, I know that I should be doing things, but it's always great hearing it again. And I think that's the other thing that, with what you were just saying is that someone can hear something several times before it clicks, just the way you said it or the story that they relate to. You may be saying the same thing, but they're relating now. So you
Exactly.
need to have that strategy in place. All right. So, how much time should a speaker spend on social media? It's always a question that I get too. And do you have a quick and dirty answer, or is it a depends as well?
I like to say if you have 15 minutes a day, if you can take that at minimum, do that. Okay. Whatever's reasonable is really my answer. Whatever's reasonable for you. So everybody's like, what's the right amount of time? Well, you can spend all day, all night on it if you really want to. But really, 15 minutes a day doing things that are very key. One, you could do storytelling. Now, the storytelling, the way you can do that is get on the live stream for 10 minutes and go and, for 5 minutes, early in the day, say, hey, I'm going to tell a great story, or join me at 3 o'clock, and I'm going to tell a story about how this blah, blah, blah got that. Okay. And why you want to be there. Don't miss this. It'll be great. I can't wait to have you there. Okay. So you spend 5 minutes putting that up, put it out on all your networks, and then go do the live stream. And you don't have to do this every day. Do this 2 or 3 times a week. Do it 2 or 3 times a month. Up to you. But that's 15 minutes in one day that you'll spend. The other days, make sure you're checking your messages, any instant messages you're getting from any of the direct messages, private messages from any of these networks. You want to be responding to them. If you haven't fully built out your profiles, like you're really not sure, spend one day during your month reviewing your profiles for 15 minutes and make sure the links are working. Make sure you like the language, it still resonates. Is there something better you learned you could say? Repost something or post something. So whatever it is, set a timer, 15 minutes, don't get sidetracked. This is where we go down the rabbit hole and we look at our competitors and we look at our friends and our family's posts, and before you know it, it's like an hour and a half later and you're like, oh my gosh, I just wasted an hour and a half. So that's the danger of being on social media, is the rabbit holes you might go down. But if you know that you want to post something, you want to do a live stream, or you want to message back somebody, or maybe you want to send a message to somebody, like you're thinking about an old client, that's a really great way to use those 15 minutes a day. Results-oriented, communication-oriented, value-oriented type of content or communications.
Perfect. And we have a question from Madeline. Can that 15 minutes a day include scheduled content, or do I have to actually log in and actively engage every day for social media to actually help?
I love that you have scheduled content, first of all. That means that if you have a day where you can't spend 15 minutes, you're covered. Ideally, 3 times a week, you're checking your messages so that nobody's going more than a day or two, but like that's not even ideal. That's minimally, I should say. But ideally, you're checking it every day. Like if you have Messenger and you have your LinkedIn and your Twitter direct messages, you're able to check that just like your email every day. If that's all you can do, great, especially if you have regular content. So the answer is like, you're covered if you have scheduled content. And I want you to do some of those 15-minute a day actual activities other than scheduled once in a while. You don't have to do it every day.
I love, just that whole setting a timer too, because you're right. It's so easy to get caught up and lose track of time. And, we have businesses to run too, as well as lives to actually, move forward with. So, even getting it scheduled, like time management wise, schedule Monday, Wednesday, Friday at, 9 a.m. I'm going to spend 15 minutes. And it's another reminder, because that's the other thing, is that you can get caught up on the million other things that you have to do and not do this either. Love the scheduled content as well. It's really important. I see a couple more questions. Want to welcome Lisa and Melissa Ann and Taryn Lee. And Taryn Lee has a question for speakers. What social media platform is the most optimal? Does LinkedIn matter more than Facebook, for example?
Well, it might. Depends on who you want to speak to. So you got to get really clear on who your audience is. And are you doing public programs that you're bringing in the people to speak to? Or then Facebook is probably a really good idea to go to, because then you can boost posts and you can do some advertising to it and really target your market that you want to draw in. If you want to target events or corporations or organizations, you can look them up on LinkedIn and start dialoguing with them. In fact, I have a whole social selling service that my team does where we'll do that for you. We'll go out and make connections with your exact targeted speaker opportunity type organizations, whether it's corporations or organizations or events, and we will send messages to them, introducing you and building value, and then asking if they have events coming up, type of thing. So LinkedIn is really, really awesome for building relationships that lead to speaking gigs.
It's highly searchable too. So like you're saying with you and your team, right? Like figuring out what your message is, who your market is, who your audience is, and then sort of taking that next step.
when you were, just to add to that, when you were saying about figuring out what your message is, when you're on LinkedIn, your profile has to ooze the benefits to that event organizers. If you want more speaking gigs, it just has to ooze it. And there's so many ways you can do that by optimizing your profile, but that'll get you far, because if you're highly searchable, for what they want, and knowing where to put those keywords for what they want, not what you're expert in. It's two different things. And you're the keyword expert, so you could probably, do a whole thing on that. But, you definitely want to master the message for your speaking business on LinkedIn.
Yes, that's perfect. All right. Lisa wants information on that service. So if you want to reply after this, that would be fabulous.
Private message me. Yeah, I'd be happy to. Lisa.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And Taryn Lee has another question. She said, thank you so much. Does it make you more credible as a speaker if you are a premium member on LinkedIn?
Credible? Not maybe, not really. I get so much business, and I'm not even a premium member on LinkedIn.
Am I?
Okay. But when we work with people, we do use the premium. We do ask them to get a premium account, the Sales Navigator account. I don't know that it gives all that much credibility. What it does is it gives you more visibility. And so if you're actively using LinkedIn as a sales tool, you're prospecting with it, it makes sense. If you're not, don't just do it because you think it gives you more credibility.
Right.
I don't think it will.
That makes sense. And Lisa, this is Laura Rubenstein. So you'll see her name.
I'm just going to reply.
Hi, Lisa. She's going to reply to you, so we're good to go there. Wonderful. I love the interaction, ladies. Thank you so much for giving us your questions, because it's always great to provide more clarity along the way. There we go. All right, so let's move on a little bit. So do you have a simple strategy that speakers can use to grow their buzz? I'm sure that's what a lot of the ladies here would want to know.
Yes, I do. Well, the simple strategy is 2 words. It's called giving influence. When you promote somebody else, you're giving them influence. When you're saying, when I just did this, I said, Tracy, you're the master of keywords. Now, everybody heard that. I'm giving you influence. Right. I'm telling you, if you need keyword mastery, you want to talk to Tracy. Now, if Tracy has a piece of content that talks about it and I share it out there, I'm doing that in a very generous way to put it on my feeds on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. I'm giving her influence. So be a tribe builder by edifying other people, by acknowledging them, even if they're competitors, believe it or not. I share a lot of content from competitors. I don't believe in competition. I believe in co-opetition, because if I'm sharing that person's content, more people are seeing it. I'm also being seen as a resource. So give influence when you can, and you want to build, and that'll build your tribe, because people will be like, well, that was really nice of her to share my stuff. Give influence to other influencers, because you want to become known as someone who should be known. And if you're sharing great content from great influencers and other people who have great, you're in the same league now. And they look at you like, oh, maybe I should know her too, right? So that's one of my little simple strategies: give influence to other people. And of course, we want to build a tribe through that. So
it ends up being, it really is that pay it forward type Absolutely. Of process, right? You don't do things, you don't share the content with hopes of getting something back, but you're sharing it so that your audience can learn from it. And as a result, you're building out your network, because each of us, as we connect with each other, can exponentially grow our networks too. Yep. And you never know, like we said, people might be offering similar services, but there's going to be that synergy, that connection between, 2 people versus the other.
Yeah, I can't tell you, like, a lot of times I will talk to people, and if it's not the right service for them that I offer, or product or whatever, I'll refer them somewhere else, because I know it comes back to me, because other people will refer me to the right people, and I just trust that it all works out.
Yeah, and that's true with with collaboration. I believe with you as well, that there's competition is competition's a negative word, and you don't want to put negative into your business. It's not competition. That's other people that are actually out there sharing information that is going to educate the people that you are going to end up doing business with. So it's, you want to work together.
And we live in an abundant world. There's more than enough to go around. And quite honestly, you don't want everybody. You want the right ones. So share what resonates with you, edify the people whose work you admire, and they'll take notice, and so will the community at large. And the ones who are attracted to you, you now use an attraction marketing style, right? It's called inbound marketing. You give, and then people want more from you.
Great. Madeline has another comment here. She says, agreed. One of the quickest ways I've made friends online is resharing content on social media platforms and also in my blog content and email newsletter. Then it's a great excuse to reach out personally to potential collaborators. Exactly. We are better together, and the more collaborations that we can do, the more people that we can impact, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Beautiful. And yeah, more than enough work, Lisa says. Exactly. There's so much out there. And you just never know who you're going to meet and what's going to happen. And if you keep that positive attitude, that positive outlook, and really stop thinking about competition, you're going to be so much further ahead.
Don't worry about the competition.
Nah.
You're so unique. You have certain people who are just out there right now ready for you specifically. You just need to show up in their sphere of influence.
That's right. All right. So then how can one build a tribe on social media? I mean, it sounds like it should be, I don't know, is it going to be easy? Is it going to be hard? I'd love to hear what you have to say.
I'll tell you a story. How about that?
Yay, a story. I love stories.
So back in 2009, I was working with Mari Smith in her very first social media mentor program, a 6-month program learning how to use social media as a marketer. I've been a marketer for over 20 years. And then I noticed social media, like the light bulb went on. I was like, this is the leveler, the playing field leveler for entrepreneurs and speakers and thought leaders. So we got to use it. And I was talking to one of my colleagues who was also in the training program and saying, you know what? We are a bunch of like mini influencers here. What if we shared each other's content? That'd be great, wouldn't it? And she goes, yeah. And a lot of people are starting these groups on Facebook to do that, but they're failing like crazy because people only go there when they want their stuff shared. And we said, it'd be great if we had one hub where we could invite people in who are really serious about it and make it fun and could share and wanted to, and had really good content. And lo and behold, I said, yeah, it would be great. It would be like a buzz club. Oh my gosh, social buzz club. That's it. So we both got jazzed by that, and we went to town researching and designing a piece of software that actually became a game, a gamified process of where that ensured people would share each other's content. So that's what we call it, a gamified content sharing platform down here, where our goal is to amplify your influence, right? So basically, in order to submit your content, meaning a link to the blog post and the tweet about it, the LinkedIn post about it, and or the Facebook share about it, that you would share other people's content first and earn credits. And when you earn 5 credits, then you can put in your own. So you're like, yes, I want to share other people's content, because ultimately then I can submit my content for them to share. So that is the gamified process of sharing other people's content and then getting them to share yours. The better your content, the more it's going to get shared, number one. And it's fun. And if you don't even have content, if you don't have a blog or you don't have tips, because you can put tips in as well. If you don't have any of that, at least share other people's content, so that you can start being noticed by those influencers, and then your community as being a resource. Be a hero to your community by giving great content away. And so that's an easy way to do it, is using the Social Buzz Club. Every member of Women Speakers Association gets $100 off the annual membership. If you're a premium membership, you get a premium premier member, sorry, if you're a premier member of Women Speakers Association, you get $100 off the annual membership. So it's like a no-brainer. It's like $197 a year to participate in this big influence game and get the influence and amplify yours and become positioned as a speaker who's someone to be known. That's one way. The other way is doing what we talked about, just doing it very organically and spending a bit more time trying to find the right content, sharing it, and then putting, I always say, what's better than you putting your own content out there? Somebody else putting your content out there, because that gives you influence. So if you want that in a systematic process, on a platform that's designed for that, that's what the Social Buzz Club is for. And if you want to do it organically, you can as well. Just a little bit more legwork involved.
Yeah, and what I love about the Social Buzz Club is the ability to search out those influencers that you want to share too. So, who is best suited for you to share with your audience, right? And you can have them in little groups and you can figure out sort of your next steps. So I love that. And a quick apology, car alarm was going off, so that's why I was muted. So I apologize for.
No worries. I also wanted to address Lisa's asking, is there a speaker group to do this? So what's really interesting is there is a Speaker Buzz Club coming out soon. And this is like, it's going to come out in the next couple months. And everyone who's a member of Women Speakers Association will be able to use it to find great content. So, and then you'll have an opportunity to submit content too and join it. But in the meantime, most of the people in the Social Buzz Club also do speak, but a specific Speaker Buzz Club is coming. And when you say a group, I mean, we have, I wouldn't necessarily create a Facebook group for it, because like I said, if you don't have the reciprocity built in, it's going to be a lot of work and a bunch of disappointment, because there's no reason people should keep coming back. And we have two amazing Facebook groups, one for the premier members and one for the associate members in Women Speakers Association. And there's plenty of opportunities to shout out about your own stuff, but it doesn't give you the opportunity to share. You can't even share from a group. So I love that, that we have the forthcoming Buzz Club, which will be a Speakers and Authors Buzz Club coming out. And that's an unofficial announcement, but you'll be hearing more about it if you're a member of Women Speakers Association.
Yeah, it's so important to have tools that you can use. And like you said, our groups are fabulous. Make sure that, this is actually a great time for, if you've just come to Women Speakers Association today and you've never heard about us, we invite you to go to joinwsa.com and find out more, because we have so many tools and training and opportunities and community. And honestly, I spend every day communicating with Women Speakers Association members, because you're my tribe, and Laura, they're your tribe as well. So it's really,
oh my gosh, yes.
Right? It's just
that's
so
a built-in
exciting.
tribe right there. You want a built-in tribe, want to know where to start. You really don't have anything together yet with social media, especially, or you do. Either way, it's a great place to go and start collaborating, start learning your way around, because there is so much available and so many, and it's a great sisterhood. Number one, people support each other like crazy. So it's great.
You can find people that you want to, that are influencers on you, and you can share them out to your audience. I see, hang on a second here. I see Taryn Lee has a question too. Do you feel having a niche in speaking will give you better influence on social media instead of speaking about various topics? Hope I'm making sense. Loving this live. We're loving that you're loving this live. That's awesome.
Thank you, Taryn Lee. So do I feel that having a niche in speaking gives better influence than speaking on various topics? Well, hopefully you're speaking on a main topic. People, you're known for a topic. So I wouldn't just get known as a speaker. You have to get known as a speaker in an area that people are craving, right? So I kind of co-brand that. You're a speaker in a niche. I don't think you could just say, hey, I'm a speaker.
Yeah.
It's not as powerful as saying I'm, a well-known speaker in the area of marketing or media or health and wellness, or you'll have your own key niche phrase, which I highly recommend developing. Like, what is your claim to fame? And Taryn Lee, I'm sorry, I don't know much more about you, um, but I love that unless you're an expert in speaking,
Right.
are you an expert in speaking? Then that's great. Then maybe I misunderstood. So if you're an expert speaker in speaking, like how to, you know, be more influential in your speaking, how to use speaking as a personal development tool, what about speaking are you trying to get across that people really want? So I highly invite you to, dive a little deeper into the messaging. This is one of my favorite things that I do on strategy calls is master people's messaging in ways that they like, yeah, that's exactly what I do. How come I haven't think of it? Because it's really good to have a mirror, somebody who could say, I get it. Isn't this it? And then they're like, yes, I've spent 20 years and I still haven't figured it out. And you said it in 2 seconds.
That's so true though, right? It's like you end up in this box and you see things a certain way, and then when you actually have that conversation and you brainstorm with somebody, it just comes out so easily. So yeah,
Mm.
definitely worth doing. Lisa Scott says my niche is women business owners help to clear emotional blocks to success. I love that, clearing emotional blocks to success. Yeah, there's so much needed out there in the world, and you know just bringing it quickly back to keywords is like, when you who are you trying to attract, what is it they're looking for if they didn't know that you existed, that your services were out there. And if you can kind of take a look at those things, and then reach out to Laura, the services that she provides. And, we're coming to the end. This has gone by so quickly, but what great information that has been shared today. And I know I'm going to go back and listen myself, but what resources do you have for listeners? You did mention Social Buzz Club. Did you want to share that with us?
Yeah, I have two actually. First, and Lisa, about your niche being women business owners, and Tracy, what you're saying, keywords. You really want to get to the heart of what they're craving in that messaging. And one of the resources I have is my book called Find the Crave: How to Craft Messages That Magnetize Your Market. And you can get that free at transformtoday.com/crave book. And I mean, that's so much fun for me to help people take a message from, hey, I help you become more successful, to by clearing emotional blocks, to something that really magnetizes. If it's not yet magnetizing, you want to keep working on your message. It's not that it's bad, it's just that there's something that's not just hitting that button. And what's the button? We got to find the button for them. So I just put the link in the to that. The other thing is, if you're not yet a member of Women Speakers Association, a premier member, and you can't get that $100 off the annual membership, which is our best deal. So if you do go into your gifts, your perks section of the membership area, and you can get that. But if you want to try Social Buzz Club for free for 2 weeks, you do have to put a credit card in, and then it's $29 a month after that. You can go to socialbuzzclub.com/trial. Now it says you need a coupon code, but don't use it. The coupon doesn't work. Just go to the link that it takes you to, socialbuzzclub.com/trial. Fill in the form saying, yes, you want a trial, and then you'll get to the checkout page, and just fill in the checkout page. Don't put in the coupon code. And you'll get 2 weeks free, and you can try it and start putting in your content and start sharing other people's content. And I will put that link in here as well for you.
Perfect.
socialbuzzclub.com/trial. So yeah, I am so passionate about working with women to get their message out, to have their voices heard, to build their tribes and become known as the thought leaders, and make the global transformation that our world is craving right now. So if I can help, feel free to contact me with a private message. You can just go to my profile here on Facebook and then private message me, and I'm happy to connect with you.
Wonderful. And we feel that from you every time you're out there, like how much you want to help others and help women get their messages out. And that's That's what makes you you. So thank you so much once again for joining me today on Speaker Chat. Great information. Ladies, if you are watching this after on the replay, please go ahead and put comments in. We'll be circling back and taking a look. And if you think you know somebody that might be interested in this information as well, feel free to share this video with them as well. Okay? Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week, especially as we come off Labor Day for some of us. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the next Speaker
That was a
Chat.
great tribe building hint that you just dropped, by the way. Sharing this live to your personal profile.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome tip.
There you go. I guess I learned from the best.
You're a natural.
There you go. All right, Laura, thank you very much. And thank you, ladies, for joining us today. Have a great one.